Tom, do you want to hear a ghost story?
No, emphatically no. I would get so scared, but I have a feeling you want to tell one, so let's do it.
Well, I do because it happened to me.
I know it happened. I was there. Part of this fun little bit is that we're pretending like we don't both know exactly what we're gonna say. But let's. Well, no, what is it, Joe? Huh? What? Tell me your story. I'm tucked in my whittle bed.
I received a letter. And this is a physical letter. It was addressed to me, and I opened the letter. And I didn't look at the front at all. I immediately just opened. I was like, what the fuck is this? And the first words are like, Dear Clara. And I'm like, well, this sucks because opening someone else's mail is a federal crime. I'm going to jail now. This sucks.
Yeah. This is a special type of entrapment called the mail gotcha, and they get millions of people like this every year.
Yeah, so I was getting ready to pack up all my stuff because my life is over. But then I kept reading, and the shit in this card made me stop because it was like, Dearest Clara, we live in a time of dark magic, and you are a vessel that is ready to transform. Are you ready, my special girl? And I was like, holy shit. The Fate Wiki is now mailing me. I have been chosen. And I'm like yucking about this, how goofy it is. So I just immediately start sending messages to Tom on Discord about this goofy thing, about how it's the Fate Wiki, and we're laughing.
There's lots of fucking funny quotes. There's just like, Clara, you've always been something of a magical girl, haven't you? I remember in your younger days, you always had the hint of magic about you, didn't you? And it's like, whoa,
yeah,
dude.
like this. Some of these words should be hyperlinks.
Oh, yeah, magic was definitely spelled with a CK, so you know it's real. This isn't some Harry Potter shit. This is like, there's actual mana in the letter.
Yes. We're laughing, and then you're like, hey, so it was labeled for you but addressed to someone else? And like when you brought that up, I was like, oh, I guess that is kind of weird. And then I thought about like the letter, and I'm like, I'm actually scared now. Now I'm scared. Now I immediately at the start of this I'm laughing, and now by the end of this little back and forth, I'm like, I need to buy a gun. There's a wizard coming for me. I'm very upset.
So at this point, I think you had a hypothesis that it was intended for the woman who used to live, now deceased woman who used to live in your condo. Is that correct? Is that what we thought?
Yeah. So the unit I live in, I was able to buy cheaply because a lady died in it. These things are buying opportunities, but sometimes I get mail for her sometimes, and I don't open it for a variety of reasons. So when this happened, I was like, oh, it must be that Clara. And I was like, oh, cool. So she was a wizard. This is very strange. And then I remember my neighbor across the hallway, he's lived in this building like his whole life. Like he, came back here after college and stuff. And he was like, I knew that woman like when I was younger, and like I went into her house once, and I got really weird swinger vibes.
Oh no!
And I was like, okay, this is a good story. This also checks out because when I moved in, there was this hanging metallic moon in the entrance, which I don't think is like a swinger thing. To be clear, it's just like this lady has, she's powerful.
Yeah, I mean it's a totem of sex mana, and it charges up your ding dong or your yum yum.
Yeah, and the thing is, my entranceway is tiny. Like, it's so small. So the fact that there was like this monument to ball in there was cool. But anyway, so I'm like, maybe this is for her. Because she's clearly lived a very interesting life. I'm still scared though, because now I'm like, well, whoever is expecting magic from Clara is now going to come for me and expect those same things. So I go to Winnie. I'm like, first of all, this sucks. We got to get new identities. We have to keep going. Like, our lives are over.
Yeah, how many talismans we have? Like, what is our amulet situation like?
Yeah. Can you draw a protection circle? Like, what colors of mana? Shit. And I show her this letter, and she looks at it for a while and goes, oh, this is the Nutcracker. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, Clara is the name of the main character on that. And you didn't notice this because you lost interest before getting to the end of the letter, but it's signed by the name of the character of the Mouse King in that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
You got fucking ending explained getting mailed to you. How does this happen?
I don't even know like what the game is there. Like just fun little whimsy was mailed anonymously because it wasn't telling me to go to a Nutcracker related show.
Yeah.
It was just reminding me that there's a story that you should think about.
And you think that that's the big twist, was that, oh, it was just the Nutcracker. This isn't spooky at all. But Joe, when we were about to record this bit, and I was like, hey, you should find the letter so that you can read quotes from it. And to be clear, you live in like a little shoebox that's like 2 square feet.
Yeah.
So like finding something is really easy. So what happened when you went to look for that letter?
It's gone, dude. It's gone. Both the envelope and the letter are gone.
Fuck. And so we were like, you know what? That's fine. I know that we have records of this because we were sending messages back and forth, goofing on the quotes, talking about the magic. That's how I knew that the magic was spelled with a CK, because Joe sent me a little message with it. So I went to search in my chat logs. And it's fucking gone. Like it's not there. Like
It's
nowhere.
gone.
We
checked every app we've talked on. We've checked Hangouts. We've checked Google Chat, which I think is still Hangouts. I'm not clear how it works. We've checked all the group chats that we've ever talked in, even though it was just between us.
We checked on Discord. I looked at my texts. I never text Joe, but I looked at my texts. Nothing. Dude, it's fucking gone. We didn't answer the Mouse King's call, so he rescinded it.
Yeah. The devil is real.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos, the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast in which we look at the 4 pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
I am Joe, an anime sicko.
Joe, I'd like to talk about today. We briefly mentioned in the Oops All Goofs episode we just did that there was a trope that boomers do where they think that all millennials are just dumb kids who haven't grown up yet. Which,
and they're right.
Yeah, they're right. I mean, like, the fact that we aren't kids, like, age-wise is irrelevant because we're all little babies. And we weren't really able to capture what we were talking about, the feeling that we were trying to talk about in that short little segment. But we, since, have done some research and have nailed it down. Joe, expand on this.
So, we were able to codify this into concrete terms because I was complaining to my therapist just about this feeling I have sometimes where I feel like a stupid toddler, where I just am constantly pulling on like the pants of people, being like, "Can you look at me? Are you my mom?" And what she said back to me, I didn't realize I had said it. And she was like, "What do you mean when you say you feel like a dumb baby bitch?"
Oh, man. What a thing to hear from a therapist.
And that it's what Tom is talking about. It's this feeling that, like, no matter what happens, you are an ineffectual idiot diaper child.
So I think we need to define our terms. It's always very important on Anime Sickos that you understand what all of our jargon means. And dumb baby bitch, as Joe's therapist asked for, you need to know what we mean when we say dumb baby bitch. If you are a dumb baby bitch, if you're feeling like that, here's how you're feeling. You're feeling that, 1, you are a baby. 2, you are a particularly stupid baby, even for the standards of baby. And 3, you are held as an object of contempt by the authorities because of your stupidity. And this is a feeling that occurs pretty much every moment of my life and your life and all of our peers' lives.
Yeah. So a concrete example for me is I'm waiting on a CT scan, and in the process of getting the doctor consultation beforehand, the nurse called me beforehand and was like, hey, you should get a COVID test before you go. Please do that, just as a precaution. And I was like, sure, I'll do it. I got a COVID test. I get there, and I'm in like unbelievable discomfort. I'm like, eventually I'll get a machine pointed at my tummy and we'll figure it out. And I get there, and they're like, have you been tested for COVID recently? And I was like, yes, you guys called me and told me to do that. They're like, I don't know if you know this, but you can't be here if you have just had a COVID test. And so in that moment, I like saw all the words I needed to say, like to just sort of like maybe get out of this. But like as I was thinking, I literally just felt like I was, my clothes were getting smaller, like I was shrinking, I was becoming a Muppet Baby version of myself, and this is how I feel like doing most things. Anytime I have to ask someone for clarifying information in a world where like no one gives a shit, it's exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, we talked about this on the Q&A episode, but like, I fucking got a car recently, and I don't know, like, there are so many things that you have to do when you have a car, and no one ever explains them or lists all of the things you need to do. And when you go to do them, you become the dumb baby bitch. Everyone is like, I can't believe you want to do this thing that you have to do. Oh my fucking God. For example, you need to get a city sticker in the city of Chicago, basically pay Chicago like some money, and you get a sticker that shows that you paid them the money, and the money goes to, I guess, fucking making sure Lori Lightfoot's awful nephew has a job. I don't know. But in order to get a new city sticker and not go in person to like the DMV and die, you have to go to their website and find an email address, and you got to send an email to that address, including a picture of your license, a picture of your registration, and a copy of the bill of sale of the car. So what I did...
So immediately, high trust here, right? Because you're being tasked with just send an email to this thing with your license.
Which insane. Like, clearly, the best practices of data security online is like, if you do that, you've died. Like, you just committed the big sin, and now everyone, like, Barack Obama is going to steal your identity. But here's the deal: I sent that shit to them, and I said, "Hello, I'd like to buy a city sticker. You'll attach to find the following: my license in the image labeled license, my registration card in the image labeled registration, and the bill of sale in the PDF labeled bill of sale." Now, Joe, I thought that I was dumb baby bitch proof because I had done it all. And then
that
what
sounds
happened,
really good to me. I'm hearing words like PDF. I'm hearing what are clearly bullet points.
Yeah, no, actually, Joe, wrongo. I was the bitty baby who had a big doo-doo in his diaper that everyone hated how stinky it was, because I got an email back like 2 weeks later saying, you are required to include a copy of your registration in order to purchase a city sticker, period, done. I replied, hello, there was a copy of my registration on the original email. However, I've attached it again, here, in the attachment that is labeled registration. So what happened then was 2 months went by, and I just started a new email. I sent it all again, and that time it worked. And it's like, okay, like that sure, fine. I felt like the stupidest baby. It felt like the world was so fucking contemptuous of me for wanting to do a thing that I have to do. And that's not unusual. What I described just there wasn't like a crazy thing that happened to me. I haven't told it to anyone because it's so fucking mundane that why would I even bring it up?
The thing that always hurts is like in those situations, you're always trying to solve a problem and everyone's just like, well, you want a city sticker because it's your hobby. Like you love it. You love it. Like when everyone talking to me at the clinic when I was waiting for this consultation, as we were trying to figure out the Rona thing, the subtext was like, Well, obviously, you just love going into places for no reason. You love touching surfaces. You're not a pile of anxiety nonstop. And eventually, I got the consultation, and the nurse before the doctor came in asked me, like, do you have feelings of depression and anxiety? And I was like, yeah. like all the time, ma'am. And she was like, right now? Like, right now? And I felt like I was, like, pointing at my empty cup. Like, I'm thirsty, and I'm trying to communicate what I want. And I just was like, yeah, right now. Yeah, and then she was like, damn, that's wild. And then she, like, left.
I mean, I think, okay, so, like, what is the crux of this? What is the reason for being a dumb baby bitch? And here's what I think it is. So, as you know, if you've been a cog, if you've been alive in the world, especially in the part of history that millennials have been alive during, it's very, very clear. Like, this is not us uncovering a secret. This is, like, stated on the front of the box. Like, the box that life comes in. This is in a big, like, explosion. Like, new. Life is about, you are a little tool, and we're going to suck blood out of you for the machine. And that is what your life is about. And here's why that leads to you being a dumb baby bitch. Because, like, technically, you do all, like, you can't just give blood to the machine. Like, you have to do other stuff, like, to live. And so I think maybe in the past, they told people about that. And now they just do fucking not.
Like, yeah, now it's just the blood taking.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to learn to grow a turnip.
Like, any skill that I think would be useful to know, there was just, like, simply no way for me to have learned that in the part of my life that was supposedly dedicated to my education. Like, I'm thinking, like, every fucking day I think back on college, and I get even more mad, because not only did it not prevent me from being a dumb baby bitch in the future, but it's, like, basically, like, the baby bitch factory, because, like, all you do is write little essays, and, like, even if you do good at the essay, it makes you feel like a dumb baby bitch, because it's just like, wow, good essay, and you get a pat on the head, and it's like, well, then what? But what, was that it then?
Yeah, I was definitely not contemptuous enough of the whole process. Like, if I could do it again, I would be more of a shithead, and I'm not, like, doing a goof. Like, the classes I sat through when I was like, I'm learning, are unacceptable. Another devastating aspect of this is that every link in the chain where you are confronted with another person who is the only person who can help you with your dilemma, and they are understanding your situation, you are again repeatedly treated as if you have never put any thought into your problem. Like you are just have wandered into their lives. Like, I recently couldn't get into my apartment because the bottom lock, the one in the door, started to come out as I was turning it, and the mechanism broke. So it was fucking locked, dude. And I couldn't get in. So I had to go down to the office, and I eventually got it fixed and rectified. But literally, it was 9 people who I was like, I can't get into my unit because the bottom lock is broken and the mechanism doesn't turn. The key spins freely in the lock. And they were like, but you have the key. Like, are you turning it wrong? And I was like, no, who's the next person I could talk to? And it's just like the repeated question, just like, well, this person's never thought of it. They just licked their door, and then they came down here. It's what I can't stand. It's because I think what really hurts about it is at work, I spend so much mental energy trying to not do that. Like, when someone comes to me with a thing, I don't want to look like a dumbass who just, like, asks the first obvious question to show that I'm clearly thinking of this for the first time. So I try not to do that. I still do it. It's very hard not to do it, but I do it. The problem is everyone else in the world evidently has never decided to do that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's hard to break out of it to their defense, because, like, every experience in your life is, oh, I guess I'm a baby. Like, I guess I'm the dumbest baby. I don't know anything. And every time I speak to someone in authority, they are absolutely agog that I had the fucking gall to talk to them. So, like, when you have been molded by that, like, you assume everyone else is like, a fellow baby. Obviously, they don't know that they're wearing a diaper, so they don't know where that smell is coming from, but I'll help them. It is just extremely fucking exhausting, where it feels like all throughout your life, you're constantly being kicked back to learning the alphabet. Like, you want to grow up, you want to be a person, you want to accomplish things. But then every time
I'm
you
hearing
come
great
up,
things about numbers and addition. Please let me get to it.
every time you want to open a fun door to get to the next playroom, the person in front of the door is like, ho, 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 whoa, wait a minute, hold up. Do you know what letters are? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, prove it. Say the alphabet. And you say the alphabet to them, and they're like, no, you got it wrong. And I'm like, no, I think I got it right. And they're like, no, you got it wrong. And I'm like, can I try again? And they're like, no, you can only try once. And you wait 2 weeks, and you say the alphabet again the same way. They're like, you finally got it right. I'm like, that was the same. And they're like, no, it wasn't. And they let you into the playroom. And then by then, you don't even want to play.
You know what sucks the most about all this is that there are people in life that this just doesn't happen to.
Yeah.
Like, I can commiserate with you and I can commiserate with friends, but I've definitely been in workplaces and I have complained in, like, my jovial sort of accessible way about these things. And, like, the response from some people has been like, you're telling me things didn't work out, like, twice in a row? Like, I don't know. That's never happened to me.
I mean, those are the adults. Those are the people who were allowed to grow up. We're not going to ever get that because, one, we don't have money. And two, even if we did, just like on a purely emotional level, you can't grow up if people treat you like a baby every day. And you feel like a baby every day because, like, well, if that's happening, it's real. So I'm a dumb baby bitch. Like, one thing that I can't stand, like, and that truly makes me feel like the smallest little ant, is just that in cog work, in the office, and I imagine throughout all fucking labor, the big sort of key unspoken thing that makes it all work is that we just never talk about the big obvious thing. Like, in office fucking culture, the big obvious thing is like, all this is stupid and no one gives a shit about any of it. You just can't say that.
Yeah, like, you can't be like, look, no one here can explain what they do to their fathers.
Yeah. You just can't say that. And because of that, you feel like a dumb baby bitch because you're like, well, everyone else seems to be, like, okay with this. It's my problem. Like, I'm doing it wrong. I guess I'm stupid for thinking this. And because I'm thinking this, I am like a stealth object of contempt. If they knew that I thought this, they would hate me. And, like, this is the fucking core of every business book. Because, like, every business book we've made fun of, it's just like, have you considered doing management good? Have you considered, when you manage your employees, listening to what they have to say and not yelling at them? It's like,
yeah, you think it's funny to make them eat ground up glass, and it is. But if you stop doing that, they're going to like you more.
And, like, it's annoying, but, like, the reason that has to exist is because there's only one thing to say about business in a business book, which is, like, business is fucking fake. Just be a selfish Gordon Gekko guy and make money, because that's really the only purpose of the whole system, is to just become a selfish slash and burn monster that eats and eats. And so you just can't say that. And one iteration of this concept that just really fucking makes me feel like the stupidest idiot is when, like, in a meeting, they reference the pandemic and they say the corpo speak about, like, we understand the pandemic is difficult, but, and then they say the fucking party line about, like, the pandemic, and the subtext is like, anyway, so the pandemic's solved, like, you can't be upset about it anymore because we said the thing, like, we said, like, we hear you, we see you, you can take PTO if you're feeling bad, but we're all in this together. And it's like, excuse me, sir, hello, I'm still, like, that didn't make it better, dude. Like, you're all that is done is pushed it into the same realm as white collar work is meaningless, which is just like, all right, this is the thing that we don't talk about, and you can't. And if you think about it, you're becoming a baby, because obviously all the adults in the room know that this is not something you can say.
Yes. I had mentioned previously that like one of the experiences of getting my brain back online after being depressed for so long is I felt anger for the first time. And like when you first do that in a while and you don't really know how to control it, you get some bad impulses. And one of them happened during one of those situations where it was a meeting at work and someone was like, as you know, we're going to stick to it together. Let me give you some pandemic advice to think about this. And like, I just had like cold rage and I was just like, hey, I stopped them and I said, why do you feel the need to give advice right now? And it felt good because it hurt them. But also like, that's a fair point, but I broke the rule, man. When someone starts freestyling about how we're all in this together, we're gonna make it through, you're not allowed to stop the flow.
Yeah. The flip side of you being a dumb baby bitch is that the person making you feel like that is the adult. And obviously an adult can give a baby advice because the adult knows and the baby doesn't. And the whole reason that you become a baby is because they're withholding things from you. And if you say like, hey, you're like, what you're doing now is violence to me. Like that. Yeah. When you told me you said that, you became God. You became Spider-Man to me.
Yeah. I'm don't worry. I'm like, my brain has since leveled out, so I'm afraid of things again. But there was like a 2-day period where I was like, I'm cool.
I've become God.
Another example is like anytime I have to get a prescription filled, and anyone who gets prescriptions filled regularly knows this. You just like go and you're like, I have a ticket from the doctor that says I deserve to have a tummy that doesn't hurt. And the lady behind the counter is like, I just got off the phone with someone else who said no.
It rules because every time you want to do something very simple, everyone who's an adult is like, hey, baby, one thing I know for sure is that you're trying to, like, trick us.
Like, I know your face doesn't completely go away when it's behind your hands, but I can't figure out what's happening. And the thing that sucks is, like, whenever someone talks about, like, a high-performing worker or, like, what they mean by, like, person with educational attainment using it for their professional advancements, it is in many ways what I see as a huge baby. It's like you are a person in front of a computer all the time, and then what do you do for entertainment? You just buy stuff on a bunch of apps.
Yeah. Like the ideal, like the world is trying to funnel you into being a computer guy, and then after you did your computer work, you just like are offered several computer apps and you must funnel all of your life through them. And like that's part of why like I don't know how to do anything. Like I fucking don't know how to do anything. It's so frustrating and it's so annoying that like in order for me to find out how to do shit, that has to be 100% on me. That is entirely my prerogative and my labor that has to go into that. Like, if I want to fucking, like, know about, like, how would I get a house? Like, what would that even mean? Like, I don't fucking know, dude. Like, I have no idea how loans work. I have no idea how much money I would need to have on hand. Maybe I already have enough. I just didn't know that the down payments could be that low. But probably not. Probably they're, like, 10 times higher than I think they are. And it's just, like, I'm a stupid fucking baby and I don't know anything because the only thing that is offered to me is, like, do you want to do Instacart? And that's even more dumb baby because it's just like I'm offloading my life onto the slave caste that doesn't even get the fucking benefit of being a dumb baby bitch because they just know, like, I'm meat. Like, the people bringing me my fucking Instacart are meat. And I wish they could be a dumb baby bitch, but they don't have that fucking privilege. And it's so frustrating.
When Amazon Go happened and they were like, you can get something ordered in 2 hours, I was like, no fucking way. And I did it once. I was like, this can't be it. And then I had to make eye contact with the person who brought me what I bought to test it, which was fridge magnets. And I was like, this
Fuck,
I was like,
dude.
this is fucked up. Like I like was immediately forced to reconcile like the human cost of like my dumb little experiment, and the goal is to make you not think about the other part of the experiment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like as I said about fucking cog work, like so much of the way the world works is like we don't think about the main part. Like the main part cannot get brought up. Like capitalism being like inherently destructive and evil and killing the world. It's like we just can't bring that. Like and again, it makes us feel like dumb baby bitches for thinking it, because all of our mommies and daddies, our mommy Kamala Harris and our daddy Joe Biden, they just don't say that. They're like, no. It's like, but daddy, but mommy, like, this is a problem. It's like, no, it's not. We don't talk about that part. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess it feels like I fucking went up to my mommy when I was 2-3 years old and was like, how do we make sure Bobby has breakfast on Bobby's World? And it's like, oh, you don't decide what happens on Bobby's World. It's a show. And it's like, oh, that's what it feels like when we're like, hey, can we have healthcare? And they're like, oh gosh, you don't decide if they get to go to the doctor on Bobby's World? You silly baby. Fuck.
That's really a funny. I really like the ending. You don't get to decide what Bobby eats on Bobby's World. It's a show. That's real. That's a beautiful ending. We should end it there.
I want to do one more thing, which is just like, we don't want to leave people on a nihilistic note. Generally, I would like to at least bring up the reason we're doing this is not just to complain about how we live in hell, but hopefully, like, putting a name to it helps you out, listener. Because, man, putting funny names to the things that happen in our horrible lives helps us a fucking lot. Like, this is a horrible feeling, but having a funny alliterative name for it, I gotta say, it helps.
Yeah, it's like a mental shorthand so I can get back to thinking about decadence. It's like, all right, this is a faster way to process this. What if I made Adachi a host? That would be a really good job change for him. Because he would get MP back when he hits with the battle. And he's got MP problems, man. So this would be a smart move.
Fruit. By definition, the sweet and fleshy product of a tree or other plant that contains seeds and can be eaten as food. "48 combatants have been selected. 2 sickos will judge them. 1 will be crowned greatest fruit under the heavens. This is the Fruit Annihilation Tournament!
Joe, part of the reason we do tight, half-hour, really cogent and cutting segments on feelings that are very relevant to us and to society at large is so that we can then use the remainder of the episode to do the Fruit Tournament.
Yeah, this is the real loosey-goosey shit.
This is where we say fruit opinions that we immediately forget. If you confront us with them, we will get angry that you would accuse us of saying such dumb shit. And if you
or we'll get angry, or we'll agree with whatever you're saying, so you'll stop being upset with us. Both of those are options.
Yes. So we are currently on round 2 of the Fruit Annihilation Tournament. As we said previously when we finished round 1, round 2 is exactly the same size because every region had 4 losers, but now 4 fruits that had a bye in the first round are joining, so it's going to take fucking forever again. But, you know, that's just how it is on this crazy blue marble.
On this bitch of an earth.
Yeah. So, Joe, today we're going to be doing round 2 of the Classic Killers region. Now, previously, we had our 4 top Classic Killers having a bye. Now, Classic Killers, just so you're remembering, are the fruit that cartoon pictures of fruit are depicting. These are like fucking the fruits you get.
Babies learn this.
Yeah, you get stickers from the doctor of these fruits. And you scratch them, and they smell like the fruit flavor. So, let's just get right to it. We have, in our first round, stepping into the arena for the first time. Now, Joe, when this happens, so the entire Coliseum goes dark, and there's just a hush that falls over the crowd. No one's talking. There's hundreds of thousands of spectators, but no one's saying a word. You can hear a pin drop, and then you hear the light turn on, and it is a spotlight directly at the walkway into the arena, going up to the ring, and you hear echoing through the entire stadium just footsteps echoing down the hallway, getting louder and louder, because who's coming through the fucking smoke machines as the music swells but the number one seed of the Classic Killers, Apple.
Folks, it's the Fang of Masudo. He's here.
This is the one that everyone came to see. The special moves on this motherfucker are simply ridiculous. And the challenger, who's walking into the arena unnoticed by anyone, wearing fucking shorts that say opponent upon them, is Banana, the 5 seed of Banana. Joe, where are you at with Apple versus Banana?
I mentioned this in Banana's previous bout, but I eat bananas all the time. They're my go-to for magnesium. Apples, I don't care. Like, I just never go out of my way to have them. I'm not saying I hate them, but I get a bunch of bananas every week at the grocery store, and if I don't, it's a failure of a grocery run. I've never felt like that about an apple.
That's odd, because my take on this would be that the apple and banana get in the ring, and then there'd be like one of those things where the announcer is like, he's moving too fast to see, and then just Apple was holding Banana's heart, and everyone was like, is the fight over? And like, well, yeah, they quickly find out the fight is over because Banana died. Okay. This is interesting.
Can I just quickly say what you described is like one of my favorite panel progressions in Kengan Ashura, where like that series is nothing but like twists. So when like someone gets punched in the head and the big twist is like, oh yeah, no, that really hurt. That rules.
So
I'm now going to speak to Apple's power. I don't do this, but I know there's those freaks who like think apple cider vinegar cures literally everything. You can put it in your eye and then you like see through stuff. Banana doesn't have any like holistic medicinal properties that they can lean on.
Mm-hmm. Also, consider bananas just by, I think there was some fucking fungus in the fucking early 20th century that basically made it so that like the only way that bananas can exist is if they're one specific like variety of banana. Whereas apples, and this is part of what makes apples so goddamn versatile, is that like there are thousands of varieties of apples, and you can like make a new one really easy. Like new apple just dropped is not a fucking fake thing. Like that happens pretty free. Like Honeycrisp was new apple just dropped like from like a decade ago. Like that wasn't around when I was a kid, and now it just is. And you can get it at the store.
That's Mandela effect stuff. That's not true. You can't say things like that.
You can. It's true, dude. New apple just dropped is very real. Like there was
no, the Honeycrisp is only 10 years. Honeycrisp is
maybe not 10
me.
years old, but I was alive when it started being at the store and was like, it was given press releases like the fucking iPhones, the new iPhone model. And it's like, hey, new apple just dropped. Honeycrisp is really good, dude. And I'll tell you what, Honeycrisp is good as shit. It's so good.
If we're thinking in terms of like what is most sustainable and useful in a destroyed apocalyptic society, and frankly we should be, Apple is a no-brainer because it keeps well, it travels well. Bananas, once they hit a certain point, they become horrible things that you don't want to look at.
Also consider, Joe, fucking apple pie, dude. Like apple pie is so good.
Yeah. Also banana candy kind of sucks, and I know there's like the banana candy is not actually the type, is actually the real type of banana. I don't fucking care. The apple candy, green apple candy, is always good with no exceptions.
Oh, consider green apple is another combatant. It's so different. It's like the palate swap.
Fuck, you're right. I forgot. Let me take that out.
No, I'm leaving it in, dude, because I want to rag on banana candy. People do say, like, oh, the actual banana candy flavor is based on the type of banana that went extinct because of the fungus in the early 20th century. That's not in banana's favor. If that's the case, it's like, oh, so bananas used to be fucking worse? We used to eat even shittier versions? I like bananas. To be clear, I do. But they're very limited just by their mushiness. Like they can't go into a lot of things, and not as many things as apples, certainly, and also they don't have as long of a shelf life.
I agree with everything you're saying, like, tactically. I didn't know about the fungus with the banana thing, and that actually works for me in banana's favor, because now it's like, this is the remnants of an almost lost civilization.
It's Karapika.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything that would make me change my mind about Apple taking this.
No, Apple is high seed for a reason.
I think maybe I was a little uncharitable in my visualization of Apple using like the lightning spear technique to rip out Banana's heart before anyone could even see what's happening. Maybe Banana would put up a fight. I
literally think this is the first Fanga Mitsudo fight where he fights the UFC guy, and the UFC guy is like, I know 4 types of martial arts really well, and I switch between them like a boss pattern. And he holds his own, but he does get his ass kicked.
I mean, if nothing else, just the fact that that there can be new apple just dropped. Like, there was a new apple that I had, a new variety of apple I got like last month, and it tasted different from any apple I ever had, and it was so fucking good. It was tangy and delicious, and that's just you can just do that, and like you can get like 10 different kinds of apples at the store. Bananas, you can get a good banana, but that's like when you've had it, like that's going to be every banana forever for you, and like that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, what if there was like 10 bananas? That'd be even better. That just isn't the case, though.
There's also the familiar feeling of, well, I have quite a few bananas left, and they're starting to get dark. So, like, you have that moment where you're like, I'm going to have to really get through these.
Yeah. The thing about that is, like...
You're going to say banana bread shit, aren't you?
Well, I was going to say that there's a lack of versatility here. Because, like, yeah, banana bread is what I was going to go to. Is, like, if you need to get a bunch of bananas gone, and you don't want to just, like, fucking slam 6 bananas... The option is banana bread, and that's like the only option. Apples, you can make apple pie, you can make apple cider, you can make apple butter, you can make apple tart. That's all good shit, and that's like a lot of things you can make.
McDonald's apple pies.
That reminds me of more than anything is the Jollibee mango pies, but that's not gonna be relevant until we get to the big fruits. Oh man, I want to get a Jollibee mango pie so fucking bad, dude. Oh, they're so good. Anyway, are we comfortable saying Apple takes this bout?
Apple wins.
Apple wins. That's what I thought. All right, next up on the docket. Now, this is a dark horse bout. These are 2 dark horses, both of whom I think frequently don't get the respect they deserve, because we're seeing the 4 seed of Cherry against the 7 seed of Lime. Where are we at here?
So, here's a question. Do you own a cherry pitter, Tom?
Yeah, it's called My Mouth.
Okay, so I would never indulge such disgusting behavior. I bought a cherry pitter. I have like the thing that does 6 at a time. I like it. I don't like having a specialized tool for cherries, though.
Yeah, well, that's why what you do, Joe. I can't believe you never thought of this. So you take a cherry, you put it in your mouth, you take a bite. It's a very delightful little treat. Tastes very good, refreshing. And then there's a little pit that you knew was going to be there. And what you do is you spit it out into like a bowl. You
said knew it was going to be there, as if to imply that every time I discover a pit, I'm surprised.
Well, because...
That's correct. That's correct. I'm like, well, there aren't pits in Pac-Man. They're just fun.
Are the pits that big of a problem for you, really?
No, I think legit I was tricked by the algorithm into thinking I needed a cherry pitter. I think that's what actually happened.
I mean, like, if you're making a cherry pie, I can see how that would be helpful, because otherwise you're, like, either having to split them with your hands and get all cherry-y, or you're using a knife to cut them in half.
Like, I bought it in the context of, like, Winnie and I are going to eat a bunch of cherries and talk, so I was going to pit a bunch at once in a bowl. But there's nothing stopping two people from removing the pits with their mouth separately.
I got to ask you, Joe, what do you think about, what is your opinion on the black cherries, the dark red ones, versus the Rainier cherries, the ones that are like kind of golden and with little red modeling?
I think I've only had the darker ones.
Ooh, okay. This is interesting. Well, this might be, provided Cherry doesn't get knocked out this round, it might be some useful Fruit Tournament homework. Well, actually, what am I fucking saying? It's goddamn winter. There aren't any goddamn Rainier cherries at the store. You can't get them. Rainier cherries are incredible. I like them more than the dark kind.
Are they in season, a shorter duration even than regular cherries? Because I don't think I've noticed them like in this section.
I don't think so, dude, and it's not like they're hard to get, because here's what happens. When I go to Aldi, like during the summer, I notice that there's cherries there, and there's both kinds, and I get a bag of each every time. And it fucking whips, dude. It's like so good.
I know we said being a baby bitch is like bad and having no choices, but like Aldi rules because I don't have to think.
It really does. I mean, that's the difference. Being a baby bitch involves you having things withheld from you. Aldi, I would consider the lack of variety is actually giving something to you, which is like, it's giving you just the peace of mind that's like, yeah, you picked the right thing, because there ain't none others. That's all there is. All right. We talked about cherries a little bit. Now, Joe, we gotta talk about the one of the top medics, one of the top support classes in this tournament, lime. Now, a lot of people talk shit on lime because you basically can't eat a lime. You'll like be in a lot of pain if you try to eat a lime, and they say that that's disqualifying. And I see where they're coming from, but they're fucking wrong, because when I get tacos from the fucking restaurant with, your onions and cilantro, and I take a bite, I put some salsa on there, take a bite. Well, that's good. But I take that lime wedge and I sprinkle some fresh lime juice onto the taco and take another bite. That second bite is like 20 times better. Like, It is incalculable how crucial the lime juice is. And some people might be like, well, that's not enough. But, like, I don't know. Fucking Mexican food is one of the great cuisines of the fucking human race. And lime juice is real goddamn important for it and makes it taste way good. That's my feeling about limes. You cannot take that away from them.
This is reductive, but I think I could summarize my experience with limes is like, if I'm at a table eating something and there's a lime involved, it's a good time, because it's either like what you just described or maybe a good drink.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you're having pad thai. Maybe you're having pho. All these fucking foods are incredibly good. A fucking mojito with a lime. A margarita with a lime.
And I don't even like drinking. So, like, if it's tasty enough because of a lime, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, like, the haters who come for lime, folks, the haters, they come for lime. They say, oh, we don't like lime. You can't eat a lime. That's not fruit. A big man, a huge special officer, a general, looking with his handsome, looking with his medals, looking handsome. He came up to me, tears in his eyes. He said, he had tears. He said, sir, I can't eat the lime. It's too sour for me to eat.
It's going to be so funny when he doesn't leave. The best part is so many people are going to insist that what is happening isn't that big of a deal. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ah, fuck. Joe, this is
I'm firmly in, because here's another thing I think about. It's like, there's a lot of like final steps in cooking that are garnishes that like are additive, but the ROI is low. Lime is just, the ROI is insane.
Yeah. Because all you fucking do is you cut it up into fucking wedges and squeeze and you're done. And it's so good.
Yes.
Now, the question is that enough to beat cherries? Because lime, as good of a medic as it is, it's the best healer class out there. That's for sure. Cherries is a very strong top-seeded DPS. Can lime sustain beat out cherry's DPS? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm really torn here because I love both of these fruits. And I don't want one of them to go out like a bitch without appropriate analysis here.
My thinking is lime's service to the world is just like the world's best boy. Like the best plus one. And that's something worth mentioning. Like that's important.
But this is a one-on-one tournament. We do take into account all of the variations and things that these fruits can do. But we also have to take into account, if we do that, we also take into account how they are at their core. And again, limes at their core are inedible. You cannot eat a slice of lime.
All right, so if we're going on the basis of like what a fruit is yes.
I mean, we're taking both of them. We have to take in both. We can't, if we ignore what the fruits can be used for, we're kneecapping so many fruits. But there are also fruits that the core of their appeal is just them as a entity. And if we're taking that into account, we have to take into account for all of the fruits and vice versa. This is where we come into a big impasse here because, as you say, lime is the best boy. It's the best plus one of all the fruits. I'll say that right now. But like cherries are just delicious. They taste so fucking good. I don't know. They're not quite as versatile in as many cuisines as limes are, but a really good cherry is the best thing you do that day.
Yeah. Cherry is definitely spec'd more towards treat. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Like, legitimately, I'm at a coin flip here. Like, I have no clue. And this sucks because I think cherries are my wife's favorite fruit. So if cherry loses here, I'm going to get yelled at. Actually, I think that's going to tip me from 50-50 to 51-49 in cherry's favor.
I will always support my boy, so I agree.
Oh, this sucks. I hate to say goodbye to lime so soon, but the Classic Killers is a absolutely ruthless bracket. It's a region that will kill anyone. So, yeah. Lime's done for. Cherry moves on to round 3. Next bout is Strawberry, the 3 seed, versus Peach, the 9 seed. Both of these are fruits that it's very easy to get a version of that tastes like nothing. But that said, I have my clear favorite in mind. Joe, what are you thinking?
Strawberry is my like go-to snack decadent fruit. Like if I'm going to be like a Roman princeling in my stupid pleasure dome, like strawberries is like the thing. Like I could eat those all day. You put a little sugar on them. They're very good.
You ever get some whipped cream? Like real whipped cream that you like you got the heavy cream, you put sugar in it in a bowl and have like a bzzz, like a mixer and make that whipped cream and then dip that shit with strawberries into that. You ever had that? You ever had that?
It's a fruit and also a full dessert when it needs to be.
Yeah. So, okay, this is something that I'm interested in. So I hear talk from you that Winnie often tries to go like, hey, Joe, let's have dessert, which is just the best thing to hear. You love to hear that after you have a meal. Let's have dessert. And then what she does is she'll pull out like raw fruit with nothing else and be like, and here it is. Now, most of the time that's violence, but when it's strawberries, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree. If every time that happened, it was strawberries. That was something I had to get used to early on in the relationship, which is that like dessert meant fruit.
It's fucked. It's like honestly one of those things. Like you meet these people who mean a lot to you. You care about them. You want to spend your life with them, and there's so much about them that you love and care about, and that really vies with you. But no one's perfect, you know? There's always going to be something. And just fruit being dessert is like such... Oh, there are times when I tell my wife, like, man, I don't have any treats. Like, I ran out of chocolate. And she's like, we have dry figs. And I'm like, I love dry figs, but you didn't hear me when I said I wanted chocolate? And like, Those are not in the same universe. I'm so like I can't. I'm offended that you thought they were.
Yeah. Dried figs are like a thing I just eat on the way to something better. They're fine. Like, they're good.
Yeah, they're good, but they're not dessert, is I think what we're getting at. Peaches, I don't know. Peaches, I haven't had a good peach in forever. Peaches also are used as metaphors for asses and vaginas in text messages.
That's a huge issue.
Yeah, I find that upsetting and unacceptable. Strawberry wins.
Yeah.
I think actually what happened was, like, Peach didn't show up to the bout because he got arrested for that emoji shit and is in sex prison.
Yeah. Yeah. So, justice was served.
Good. All right. Now, Joe, a lot of people have roasted us for having a very citrus-heavy bracket. A lot of different citrus fruits. People are often like, some of these citrus fruits, some cultures don't even consider them different fruits. Here's the thing. Here's my response to that. Suck it. I love citrus. Fuck you. Citrus is great. What are you, a cat? Why don't you like citrus? So, our final bout, and the reason I bring this up now is because we got a citrus on citrus bout for the Classic Killers. We got the 2 seed of orange versus the 6 seed of lemon. And I thought lime versus cherry was close. This is like 2 brothers, and like one of them has to die, and like they're both crying as they like get into their kung fu stances.
I'm also there. This is like a Sophie's Choice deal. This sucks.
I think this is so what we were talking about with cherry versus lime, where it's like we have to consider the fruit in its pure form, but also consider all the things that it can do simultaneously. I think this is like the absolute most purified version of that dilemma. Because if we look at orange, like if we look at a lemon versus an orange, which would you rather take a big bite out of? Like, that is an absurd question. Orange, 1,000%. I'm going to eat an orange. If I ate a lemon, I'd go, ooh. I want to eat an orange. It tastes good and sweet as opposed to sour. But if we look at like what can be made out of oranges, like we got marmalade and orange juice, and that's pretty much it as far as I can, as far as I know. And like those are fine. Like, I guess. But we look at lemons. Well, we got lemon juice as a fucking culinary. You put that in soups. It goes into all sorts of cuisine. It's maybe not quite the heavy hitter that lime juice is, but it's in a lot. And lemon desserts, there's so fucking many. You can make lemon bars. You can make lemon drops. You put lemon juice in any other fruit pie, and it brightens it up and makes it delicious. The utility of the lemon is so deep and wide.
Well, you're talking about utility in the context of eating, and it's like also the natural acidity of lemon has like cleaning implications, a bunch of other stuff. It's a workhorse.
That's true. Dude, you're right. And orange's big like phase shift attack is orange juice, which I gotta tell you, only good if you do it fresh, which like that sucks. That's a lot of work. And 2, I'll say it, lemonade outclasses orange juice.
I've never like loved orange juice. Like if it's in my home because I bought it, it's fine. I think I only like it if I wake up someplace and it's offered to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, nothing wrong with it, but like the feeling of having orange juice at the best of times, to me, cannot touch like it's a very hot summer day. You've been doing shit outside all day. You're sweaty, and you get a big clinky ice glass of lemonade. Like, I'm sorry, fuck you, orange juice.
Actually, let's do a thought experiment. For some reason, you have a home. Like maybe the bank made a mistake, and you're mowing the lawn, and you are sweaty, and it's done, and it's a hot Chicago day, and after mowing the lawn, you chug a big glass of orange juice. That is gross, right? That is disgusting to you?
That's going to make me vomit.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Oh, man. Shit, dude. Oranges are really good. I like to have a big, get a bag of oranges from the store, and then like every other day, cut it into wedges and have it as a nice snack. I'll give you that. But
orange is starting to feel like a fighter that Ippo fights early on, where it's just like, this person has a good hook. That's it.
Yeah. Fuck. Because I'm thinking now, like, If I want to make hummus, well, what's the one fruit I need? Lemon. Like, I don't know, dude. Like, hummus is really good. Hummus got lemon juice in it. I'm sorry. You put orange juice in fucking hummus, you got some shitty hummus. It's gonna taste weird.
Seems like orange as an addition just fucks shit up.
Yeah, orange needs to stand alone in order to be at its best. Lemon needs to be a background player and or be augmented by other things in order to be at its best. But I think, okay, here's what I think it is. Lemon is like a tiny like bug that can like that someone has made a bunch of mecha suits for, and it can crawl into the mecha suits and control them, and each mecha suit has different stats and abilities. But like Orange is just a guy. Mm-hmm. And like definitely that guy could step on the bug, but the bug, he's never going to get a chance to step on the bug because
the bug will never be caught like lacking in such that way. Like the bug knows what's up.
Dude, I really did not think that this was going to be how it shook out. I'm for Lemon here. I think the 6th seed moves on. Bye Orange. Am I crazy?
No, I don't think you are. The only reservation I have is that Lemon's strength is also what we agreed Lime's strength was, and then we said, as you know, it's got to stand alone.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. We gotta grapple with that. I think maybe it just is that I like cherries more than oranges.
Yeah, you were too much of a coward to say that.
Fuck. I mean,
no,
I think
I'm with Lemon. To be clear, it's my preferred one. I just needed to have us have that little exercise.
Yeah, you're right. And I think I don't know if this bout is going to come to fruition. Probably not. I would be really surprised if this bout got on the card. But I think the real like brother versus brother bout that would like make everyone cry, because like definitely people cried, and when Lemon hit the final gut punch that made Orange crumble, like it went from crying to sobbing. He started fucking sobbing in the ring. He's crying in the club right now. If it gets to be Lemon versus Lime, I think we have to cancel the show.
Yeah, that's also kind of how I feel about Apple and Green Apple.
Yeah, it's like how can you even put them in the same ring? It's inhuman. It's cruel. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I'd say Lemon advances is what I'm feeling.
Lemon advances. That's how it is. And the second round of the Classic Killers region is locked in. It's in the books, folks. Holy shit. That was tough.
It was tough and ideologically consistent with all of our other opinions, for sure.
Well, I mean, that we remember.
Yeah.
Don't think that what we've just said is going to be applied consistently. It won't. We'll forget it. And what's going to happen is we're going to forget about the fruit tournament for a while, and then we're going to be like, what's the next episode? And it's like, well, I have one segment. I don't think it's going to fill the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, holy shit, you know what we could do is the fucking fruit tournament? And Joe will be like, what's that? Because that's what happened this time.
Yeah.
But next time, I think when we come back to the fruit tournament, what we're going to have to do is move straight to the Rebels region, because I don't think we can leave people waiting for the emergence of the most controversial fighter, Coffee.
Mm-hmm. Against this first round is who?
It's going to be against Jackfruit, but like that's not. We'll leave the actual bout for when it comes up. But just I don't want to leave people waiting for Coffee. I want to see it fucking do its moves. But anyway, I think that's everything for Anime Sickos this week. Are we good? Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Well, that said, I'm going to do the outro. Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko.
I am Joe, a sicko.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Hell yeah, that was a good episode. thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.